Good afternoon, lovers. I had to check the time. And I don't know how it's so late afternoon already. Hello, darlings. So wonderful to be with you for today's Cuppa with Katie show. Thank you so much for joining me. And today I'm going to be answering a question from a client. It's actually from a woman in my membership, the Love Lounge. So actually, she's getting her answer early because in my Love Lounge membership, every week I do a post that says ask me anything, and anyone in the membership can ask me their questions, and then I go live at the end of the week and answer everyone's questions. And what I love about being able to offer this is I know that when a woman has a question about her personal life or her business or how she's feeling, whatever's going on for her, when we don't feel like we have the support with that, we can stay ruminating in it for a long time. We can stay kind of spinning our wheels in it for a long time. And it slows down our transformation. It slows down our progress through life. And I get to answer these questions, giving a woman like the direction really quickly, or at least to be part of the support team that is giving her the answer and the direction that she needs to speed things up for her. And I think that's very valuable. I wish that the coaches I've worked with historically offered this service. My business coach actually offers a similar service, although I'm in private coaching with him, so I'm on the phone to him every day. That's a really amazing next level service, which my private clients have access to me like that too. But this is a way to move forward with your life. I really, really love being able to answer questions so quickly for the women in my membership. And oh, hi, look who is here. Hi, Ellen. It's so good to have you. You're in New Jersey. Aha. Are you on holiday there, honey? I don't believe that you usually live there. Great to have you live, though. And by the way, if you've just joined, say hi. I'd love to know who's watching. If you're on replay, type in #replay so I can keep track of who's watching. But yeah, so every week in the Love Lounge, women are asking me questions and I go through and answer them all at the end of the week. But I decided today to pull one question out and answer it on this show. I'm not going to say her name because I'm going to keep her anonymity. Oh, hello, Louise. I am very well, thank you. Great to have you here. And Jody, oh my goodness, it's so nice to have you here. I wish I could see your face. Oh, how lovely. Oh, some different faces able to join live. Maybe I should more often change up the time I go live so that it enables different people to join. That's really, really cool. Ruth's here. Hello, honey. Nice to have you. I heard that you're on today's happy hour with Sarah. That's another offering we have in the Love Lounge. My colleague, Sarah, she's our community head of happiness, and she does 2 happy hour calls every month, which is fantastic. And yeah, Ruth, I heard you were there. I heard it was a good call. And Ronnie's here. Hello. Ronnie is a love and intuitive coach. Wow. We are in the similar field, Ronnie. Nice to have you. Welcome. Okie dokie. So, yes, I'm going to be answering a question that came out of the Love Lounge, my membership, earlier today. And it's kind of one of those divinely timed questions because I have another coaching group called Love Alchemy, which is for single midlife women. And we did a masterclass call last night on how to heal your victim archetype and how to work with your inner child. And it's a very powerful 2-hour class. And the question I received in my membership, the Love Lounge, is around the victim archetype. And I felt like that wasn't a coincidence. This seems to be a topic that's coming up quite a lot at the moment. And it just felt appropriate to answer the question. And I'm just thinking as I say that, I randomly caught up with a friend yesterday who is self-employed. Hello, whoever that is. Nice to have you. I caught up with a friend yesterday who's self-employed, and he was sharing his struggles with business, especially on the back of the pandemic, and how it was for him during the pandemic. And, he's a small business. He's got like 10 staff, and he was sharing how scary it has been at times and how incredibly stressful it's been at times. And I could hear how the victim was coming up for him too. And it makes sense. It's been a really tough time for small business owners. Well, it's been a tough time for everybody. And he was sharing how it's been difficult for him. And he was sharing how, he really does witness, in himself, in his staff, in his clients, so much fear and a lot of, there's a lot of scary stuff going on. People are scared, people are feeling uncertain, and people are feeling very victimized for multiple different reasons, especially on the back of the last couple of years that we've all experienced. So this fear is heightened at the moment. The stress is heightened at the moment. And when we're living in uncertain times, it makes so much sense that our victim archetype will rise to the surface. And I'm seeing it in a lot of clients. I felt it in my own life, although I do have a very healthy relationship with my victim archetype, which I'm sure I'll touch on today. And it just feels very, very relevant to speak to this. So I'm very glad to have you here and to share this. And like I said, if you're here live, say hi, please. And on the replay, please type #replay. All right, so I'm going to read out the question that I received. And I haven't planned what my answer is around this. Like I just want to speak to the question, and I always trust that what's meant to come through is going to come through. So let's see what that is. All right, so the question was, I am really struggling with anger, sadness, frustration, and being the victim lately. I really want a happier, more balanced life, which includes finding my guy. But my business and its responsibilities always take over. I don't want to stay in the victim, but I don't know how to get out. Help. So this was, like I said, a question from one of the midlife single women in my Love Lounge membership. And I just want to, first of all, acknowledge what a courageous question it is. I love the honesty in this question. This is, when we are really honest and when we dare to share our true feelings and ask our real, deep, vulnerable questions, we are speeding up our transformational process where we are healing. I mean, this woman, just through acknowledging how she's feeling and really leaning into her courage to bring that question into our membership space, which is a very, very safe space, to bring that in, her healing is already occurring. She's being witnessed, and she's being witnessed by a group of women who care for her and who support her. And she's being witnessed by me. And I, with my clientele, I only see the light for them. Like, I understand the darker feelings. I understand the fear. I acknowledge it. And I don't see them like that. I don't see them as wounded. I don't see them as broken. I don't see them as having a problem. I see the light and the love that they are, and my role as their coach is to remind them of that and help to lead them back to that, remembering that. Posing a question like this to a coach is like the healing process has already begun. I wouldn't even be surprised. I'm not checked in with her since she posted this question, but I wouldn't even be surprised if things began to shift, which often is the case. Things begin to shift just because we've tapped into how we're really feeling. We've dared to share it. It's been witnessed. Already the wheels are in motion. Energy is moving. So therefore things will start shifting. Let me just come back to the comments for a second. Yeah, cool. Okay. So where do I begin with this? Well, kind of as I was just saying, the first step to moving out of that victim space is acknowledging how you really feel. Yeah, it's acknowledging how you really feel. Hi, everybody. There's a few of you joining. Unfortunately, if you don't give StreamYard permission to share your name. I don't know who it is, but I'm saying hi. Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, the first step is to acknowledge how you really feel. And she's already doing that. She says, I'm struggling. Well, is she acknowledging it? Okay, so here's the difference. So at the minute she's saying, I'm struggling with anger, sadness, frustration, and being the victim lately. Now, it'd be very, very easy to judge yourself for feeling like that. And it's kind of what we do. It's a default thing that if we're not bouncing off the walls with happiness and vibrancy and aliveness and feeling peace and centered, if we're not being and feeling our best selves, our knee-jerk reaction, which is a habit of behavior, and remember, habits can be changed, will often be to judge ourselves for not feeling good. I do it. I know that you do it. I know that when I judge myself for feeling anything other than brilliant and happy and completely on form, I have to stop and just invite myself to love myself enough to love the parts of me that aren't feeling completely on form. This is key. So when you feel, as she's saying, anger, sadness, frustration, the victim, when that comes up for you, just notice how you might go into judgment of that. And instead, choose not to judge yourself. And instead, choose to remember that you are having a human experience, that you're doing your best. Maybe choose to remember that every single emotion is valid. I really believe that our emotions are actually our spiritual self signposting the next step in our lives. Like our feelings are showing us what needs our attention. They're showing us how to make a decision on what's next for us. They're showing us our emotions will show us where we're dissatisfied in life. They will show us whether we're aligned with our true self or not. They'll show us if we're living authentically or not. They'll show us if we're speaking our truth or not. Our feelings show us the next step. And that's a great thing. And sometimes we need to feel the tougher stuff to course correct and move in a direction that feels more aligned, that indeed actually brings us more happiness, more peace, more balance and centeredness. So when these tough emotions come up, I invite you, as I have to remember and invite myself all the time, to remember that there's no such thing as a good or a bad emotion or a right or wrong emotion. It's there and it's valid. And to love that part of me that is feeling whatever I'm feeling. Now, very often it's the case that when our victim comes up, which is the sort of the cornerstone of this question, when our victim comes up, very often our victim is a younger version of ourselves. Very, very often, not always, and very often it's a part of ourselves way back from when we were very little, because here's the thing, when we're in victim, we feel like life is against us. We definitely don't feel like life is happening for us. We feel like life is happening to us. Therefore, we are a victim, like we haven't got a choice in the matter or something. Often when we're in victim, we don't feel seen and heard. We don't feel understood. We are in a fearful place. We don't feel safe. We don't feel acknowledged. We don't feel loved. And often this is coming up because there's been a pattern in our life that has been replaying over and over again because something happened all those years ago that had us feel unsafe or unloved or not good enough, or we weren't acknowledged, we weren't witnessed, we weren't seen and heard in the way that actually we deserved to be all that time ago. And when that happened, when we had that experience, we made it mean something about ourselves. And essentially at the root of what we made it mean was probably I'm not enough, but often like life is happening to me, not for me. I feel like a victim. And in that moment of feeling like a victim to life, to external circumstances, to other people's bad behavior and bad decisions, or lack of care and attention or kindness, in that moment, when we felt like a victim to life, and remember, when you're very little, you don't think this, you don't understand it necessarily. You very often, I mean, especially at pre-age 7, you're feeling it, you're intuiting it, and the feeling stays in your body. And that feeling of I'm a victim, unless acknowledged at that point, unless fully seen and heard and witnessed and loved at that point, it will replay again and again and again throughout your life. And you will, because we're energetic beings, what we feel is what we're creating. What we feel is what we're attracting in. I'm not saying it's your fault. Please don't misinterpret. You're not to blame. And where our energy signature is at is what we're creating and attracting in. And so you will be experiencing situations time and time again where you feel like a victim. And the more that that goes on, the more kind of real and concrete it feels. It's like, I'm a victim. I remember in my 20s, so my mum took her own life when I was 22. And I absolutely lived as victim to that for a solid decade. And that experience of her death, by the way, a lot of positive came from it, and I wouldn't be doing the work I'm doing now without it. So the whole experience was a real gift of love, ultimately, but that's kind of another conversation. But that occurrence when she died, it basically, carved into stone for me that life is happening to me, not for me, that I am a victim. I can't expect good luck. Like, I got unlucky, and this is just how it's going to be for me. That event really did write into, or carve into stone for me, you are a victim. It wasn't so intellectual, it was more a feeling, but I definitely then spent the next 10 years, I mean, I was living a good life. There's a lot of great stuff going on. Definitely was committed to sucking the marrow out of life. And when things didn't work out for me, my default was, well, of course that would happen to me, because that's how it is for me. Of course that relationship would screw up. Of course I'd attract in that kind of person. Of course the job would go that way. Of course I'd be made redundant. Of course, like, that was the story, because I was in victim. And I had things happen before my mum died that had me feel like I was a victim, like I wasn't good enough in some way. I had to work hard to prove my worth. I had to work hard to be loved. That was my experience of life until it wasn't. And it's because I mean, I can track right back to when I was a very young girl, and certain things happened. I'm not going to go into it all here now. And certain things happened where I didn't feel like the center of attention at points that I should have, that it was my birthright as a small child to feel safe and taken care of and unconditionally loved and protected. I took on responsibilities when I was very young that I shouldn't have had to have taken on those responsibilities. And not that anyone made me, things were happening around me. I made it mean something about myself. I internalized it. And it was only when did I start doing my inner child healing work? It would have been in my early 40s. No, how old am I now? Late 30s. That I actually began the process of healing my inner child, which was the original victim way back then. The reason I was in victim as an adult was because the original victim, the little girl, didn't get paid the attention she should have at certain poignant moments. And so that became my work as an adult, and it continues to be my work as an adult to pay that part of me attention. So, when you say, for this question, it says, I don't want to stay in the victim, but I don't know how to get out, help. Well, the first step is to acknowledge all that you feel, because it's allowed and it's appropriate, and there's no judgment on it. There's no right or wrong. You might intellectually kind of go, well, I'm being a little bit unreasonable with my emotional reaction to XYZ, but let's not make you wrong for it. Like, we only stay in victim when we don't fully acknowledge all that we're feeling. It's, if you could sit in, a really powerful process is to sit in a mirror and look at yourself and look into your own eyes. They really are the windows to your soul. And tell yourself, witness yourself. Because like I said earlier, being witnessed speeds up healing. It speeds up the transformational process. Look into your own eyes and tell yourself, say out loud how you feel. So for this woman in this question, it's, if she was to look at her own eyes and say, I'm so angry. I'm so angry, and say why. And I'm so sad, and say why. I feel so sad because ... I'm feeling so frustrated, and I'm frustrated because I'm frustrated with that and that person. And I'm feeling like such a victim, and I'm fed up with it. And I don't want to feel like a victim anymore. But here's why I feel a victim. And here's what I think is unfair. And this is how I think it should be going instead. Like, just be real. Witness yourself. Hold space for yourself. It's a massive first step to not staying in victim. Because as soon as we witness the truth of how we feel and we don't make it wrong, oh my goodness, does it begin to dissolve. Because when we don't look at it, when we don't acknowledge it, actually what we're doing is we're allowing it to, because we're allowing it to expand, we're allowing it to become more, because what we resist persists. If I don't look at it, it doesn't mean it's gone away. If I don't look at it, it's actually just getting bigger. So if you've got massive patterns of feeling like a victim in your life, probably, and this was the case for me until it wasn't, probably because you refuse to look at it. There's nothing more embarrassing and humiliating than realizing you're behaving like a victim or feeling like a victim. I know that you judge people who are in victim because it's kind of a yucky space to be. It's not very nice to be around. We don't want to admit that we're in victim, but the more we don't look at it, the more it's actually building. And the truth is, when our victim is coming up, it's a real sign that there's a part of us that was victim once upon a time, that wasn't loved back into the light, that wasn't acknowledged, and too much time has gone on ignoring it. And it will only go away, it will only calm down through the lens of love, through the lens of compassion and kindness. Only when we really acknowledge, like, why on earth do I feel like a victim? What's that really about? Does it have roots that go all the way back to my childhood, to a time when I felt something very similar? And it's been playing out again and again and again throughout my life. And here I am again, feeling like a victim. But the roots, we need to go all the way back and support that part of us. And it oftentimes is working with your inner child, being there for her, listening to her, letting her have her range of emotions. She's allowed to feel what she feels. Encourage her, remind her of her purity, remind her of her light, her brilliance. How often do we do that for ourselves? The victim is such a gift because it invites us to remember to do that for ourselves. So when the victim comes up, it's not a bad thing. It's a signpost saying, this is the next piece in your healing journey. It's a signpost saying, this is specifically how you could love yourself today. Loving yourself requires you to acknowledge truthfully how you feel without judgment, to hold space for yourself. That's self-love. To then encourage yourself, to love yourself through it, through the feelings, to remind yourself of your brilliance, to remember that, yeah, I might feel like a victim today, and life hasn't always been that bad, and lots of great stuff has gone on for me. And I might feel a victim in my ability to carry out XYZ in my business today, or I might feel a victim, I'm referring back to her question, I might feel a victim with regard to my ability to manifest my soulmate. And I'm going to choose to remember my resilience, my intelligence, my all that I'm capable of, how lovable I am. I'm going to choose to remember that now instead. But it's hard to remember our brilliance and our light until we acknowledge the dark. And it's through our own loving, kind, compassionate lens when we witness the dark. It's that lens that actually, when we're bringing so much light into the dark, we can't sustain the dark any longer. We can't stay there. It's impossible to stay there when you bring love and light into those areas of your life and into those feelings that are quite dark. The worst thing you could do would be to ignore them, because like I said, they'll just grow. They'll just grow. So let me go back to, well, let me have a quick look at the comments. Hold on a sec. Hey, Anne-Marie, good to have you. Thank you, darling. It's all good. Life is happening for us all the time. Happening for us all the time. Got some people. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Claire is saying, I like the idea of saying a younger sister who was lost, lonely, and sad, and saying it's okay, I'm here for her and to protect her now. I love that. Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's another way of loving on your inner child. Really beautiful. Yeah. So let me just go back to the question and make sure I'm answering it okay. I really want a happier, more balanced life, which includes finding my guy, but my business and its responsibilities always take over. I don't want to stay in the victim, but don't know how to get out. Yeah, so I've covered off a lot of the answer to that, but let me just go into a little bit more detail around the business piece. And let me have some of my tea. But my business and its responsibilities take over. Okay, so yeah, so there's a victim piece going on there around, yeah, the responsibility of running a business. Any other people here running a business? Any other entrepreneurs? Where sometimes you feel like business takes over your life? Yeah, it happens. And so full acknowledgement of that, like maybe do that practice of sitting in front of the mirror and looking into your own eyes and say it how it is. Like when we're in business, especially for us entrepreneurs, I mean, I've got a fantastic mastermind group that I can lean into whenever I need to. I don't believe we're meant to do life on our own, any element of it. I have my coach. And so I feel much more supported in my business. I don't feel so alone. I've got Sarah now, my sidekick in the Love Lounge, who's our community head of happiness, so I can lean into her if I needed to. I've got my assistant, I can lean into her when I need to. My husband is very kind of, he understands my business, not like I understand it, and he knows it well enough I can lean into him when I need to. And running your own business can be a really, really lonely place. Really lonely. And we really, like, I think having your own business is the best personal development program you could ever go on. You are invited every single day to have your own back, to support yourself, to be there for you. And so actually taking time to just sit with yourself, it could be the mirror exercise, it could just be with your journal, but just allowing yourself to really acknowledge, like, it's hard. You know, like I did with my friend yesterday who was sharing his stress and worry and how he's going into victim with his business because of COVID. Like, unless we actually stop and acknowledge how we really feel and stop glossing over it, we do not have our own back. To not acknowledge how we're feeling is very self-sabotaging. It's so mean. It's so mean not to acknowledge how you really feel. So yeah, at the moment, you're feeling like your business and its responsibilities always take over. Have a good whinge about it. It's not wrong to need to have a whinge about it. Maybe don't whinge to your clients about it. Choose where you do your whinging, but absolutely with yourself, just write an angry, just write how it really makes you feel. Maybe write it onto a piece of paper that you can then tear up and burn and release it and let it go, and then decide how you want to feel instead. Remember, I find with running a business, one of the most powerful things you could do after acknowledging how you feel, the victim stuff that's going on, then actually tap into like, what is fantastic about my business? What do I love about it? I mean, when I ever get down on my business and how I run it and so on, I actually will sit and write my job description for what I do, and you could not replicate it. If someone posted an ad in a newspaper for a job that had the job description that I have, I'd be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that job even exists. Where do I sign up? Who do I send my CV to? It's so awesome. Like, I absolutely love my job. You know, I just feel so, so blessed. And when I'm in victim and when business feels hard and we've just gone through the pandemic, there's extra added stress. People are worrying about money. People, we're all like a little bit on tender hooks. Um, I have to stop and remind myself of how fantastic it is to have a business like I have. Yeah, it's a very powerful practice to do that. Claire's saying we also deserve to have people that will do happily and perhaps better the things we don't enjoy. Plus, it helps them financially and takes stress away to work on and not in your business. Absolutely, Claire. Yeah, I have quite the support team for that. And yeah, I completely agree with you. The inner child module from the Essential Love collection really helped me with this, and now love myself a lot more, which I never thought I would ever be able to do. Who was that? Who just shared that? Do you mind sharing your name for me? Yeah, the Self-Love Essential Collection. You have done the Inner Child module, which would be from the Love Yourself Free from People Pleasing course inside that collection. And yeah, I'm so glad you received so much from that. It's absolutely game-changing, isn't it? Yeah. I know you never thought you could. Isn't it amazing? Oh, it's Karen. Hi, honey. Good to have you. Yeah, it's totally game-changing, isn't it? Yeah, very, totally, totally game-changing. And Anne-Marie's, thank you for sharing. So I'm so happy, Anne-Marie. That's what I do's. It's what I do. Because I'm no different to you. We're all here having this human experience, and I believe it's my responsibility because of the line of work I've chosen. And well, did I choose it? I mean, I did, and I was so guided into the space to do this work, and I don't think I was given the life experiences and the extremities of some of them if I wasn't meant to do the real deep healing work to then go on and help others. I just feel like it's my purpose. It's what I was put here to do for now. I think for a long time to come, it might change one day, but for now, this is what I'm meant to do. And sharing the human experience, it fast tracks all of our growth, and the ripple effect on the planet is profound. So, but thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate it. I hope that I've answered that question quite well. Yes, I hope that I've answered that question quite well. I hope that, and I trust that it has landed, and what you needed to hear today, even just one little tiny nugget from that has landed for you. It's a subject that I'm really passionate about speaking about. I do believe that the victim needs a rebrand. I think it's time that we didn't feel embarrassed or judgmental or ashamed of our victim when it comes up. I think the victim is a gift. I think that the victim is showing us where we next need to heal. And the victim shows us very practically how I can love myself today. So yeah, let's be a little more embracing of the victim when she comes up, and remember that it's just a part of us that's looking for our love. That's okay. That's kind of cool, I think. Yeah. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you. Thank you. All right, my darlings. Oh, hold on. Love this perspective, allowing to receive that part of us. Yes. Yeah. Like, we have to receive ourselves fully. Self-love requires us to receive ourselves fully, all of it. And for the single women here in this community watching now, if we don't know how to receive ourselves fully, how on earth do we think that someone else will be able to receive us? If we can't receive ourselves fully, how do we think we are able to receive somebody else? This is the practice. Yeah. I will stop there. I'll let you get on with your afternoons. I'm sending you so much love. If you are not already a member of the Love Lounge, you are so welcome to come join us. I do believe I put the link in the intro post to today's show. Come on over. We're a very, very welcoming bunch, and you will be very welcomed. Lots of love. See you next week. Oh, by the way, it's my birthday on Saturday, so just saying. I'm going to be 48. All right. Love you. Bye.